When it comes to dating, flirting is the #1 word searched on YouTube. But why is it that men struggle with this? It's because when done incorrectly, it can creep the girl out and ruin your chances. In this video, I'll be teaching you 3 ways to flirt subtly. Watch until the end because the final point is the most effective. The first technique is disqualification and polarization. You might have heard the term nice guy before. A lot of us have been aware of this phenomenon for years, which begs the question, which is what are the practical steps needed to overcome this? Disqualification and polarization is when you negative spike a woman. You see, most men struggle with flirting because they give the woman too many positive spikes. This is not true and only exists in Disney movies. What you need to do is give the girl a roller coaster of emotions, both positive and negative spikes. The more attractive the woman, the more she craves the negative spike because she's so used to every guy just giving her positive. So when you give her a negative, it creates a pattern interrupt and it makes her more intrigued. Back when I first started my pickup journey, I can remember this one night when I was in Jersey and I went out with a mission in mind. The mission was to disagree with at least 10 women. But it wasn't gonna be a simple, logical disagreement. Instead, it was a very sharp, polarizing disagreement. I went up to 10 girls in this club and I would ask them a question. They would respond and then I would say, "You're lying, I don't believe you." It didn't matter the question. What mattered was I was going to disagree in a sharp way. To my surprise, every single time I would disagree with a girl, I would notice a positive reaction. They would smile, they would laugh, they would lean into me, they would start to be more interested in what I'm saying. That night, I made a massive breakthrough. And I've never had so many high quality women into me in one night. Now, if you're in a daytime setting, you still want to apply this, but maybe not as strong. Maybe it's as simple as, "Oh really, I wouldn't have guessed that from you." You can just say these whenever a girl says anything about her, and trust me, it provokes more intrigue. Because through negative spiking a woman, you create a bigger gap in the perceived value she has in you. This causes her to try to fill that gap and qualify herself to you. On a very subconscious level, it's like the DNA believes that this other DNA must be higher value because it's rejecting me. Now on to the second technique, which is sneaking one past the goalie. Another big mistake men make while flirting is to simply put too much pressure on the girl. Remember that a girl's #1 priority is her safety. And that's why the last thing you want to do is put too much pressure. To sneak one past the goalie means that you're essentially giving a intentful line, but you're not letting time simmer after, and instead you're gonna fill in the silence. Imagine me and a girl are having a conversation and she's talking, and then I just say, "By the way, your eyes are really cute." She responds, "Oh, thank you." And then right after, I ask her questions about what she was talking about. "Yeah, so what were you saying about the blank?" What this does is it kind of like stuns the girl. And before it can feel like there's too much pressure on the situation, you alleviate the pressure while still making her know it's man to woman. In other words, you prevent any resistance or rejection, but still create the man to woman vibe you're looking for. And this reminds me when I first started going on dates with women from cold approach. I can recall that at first I was very friendly, and these dates would just go nowhere. I was definitely that nice guy. But after I got better and I started to purposefully show intent, I also noticed that that caused some bad reactions. I was confused because I thought, "Oh shit, I have to show more intent. Why is it not working still?" After getting my audio broken down by a coach, I realized that every time I would show intent, I would let too much tension simmer, and it made the girl feel uncomfortable. A little bit of tension is good, but you want it to be balanced to the level of interest she has in you. On to the final and most effective yet subtle point, vibe and delivery. Have you ever seen a very attractive woman hang out with a guy who looks way below her level? A lot of you guys might think that's money, status, or something, right? That's wrong. It's not always that. Sometimes it's just that they have a really good vibe and charisma. But what is vibe and charisma? A lot of people can't even quantify what that is. Vibe is not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. It is not the subject, it is the delivery. It's like a comedian. They're funny not just because they're script, but they're funny because of their delivery. In fact, a really funny person can say almost anything and make you laugh. And a really charming and attractive man who has a really good vibe can say almost anything and make the girl feel something. Remember that women are more aroused by their psychological mind as opposed to their physical self. A lot of men project the way they get attracted stimulated to how women view them. When in reality, yes, we as men were more stimulated visually and physically, but women love mind games. I remember being in high school and I would see certain men with women that I thought were way above their league. This pissed me off because I thought I was a decent looking kid and I wasn't getting the same results these guys were. It had to do with their nonverbal communication. The principles of good nonverbals: your smile, your eye contact, your facial expression, your hand gesticulation, your voice, and your posture. You want to smile more. This gives a more flirty vibe to women. You want to have powerful, strong eye contact. Not crazy, intense, I'm gonna kill you eye contact, but just relaxed, powerful, grounded eye contact. Sometimes I might laugh and express more joy as opposed to flirtiness. Sometimes I might look at her more serious, and that's cool too. There are infinite facial expressions, so many, and if you watch this video in full, you'll see how I do many different ones at a time. Your hand gesticulation is how you move your hands. Once again, you watch the video, you'll see my hands moving all the time. This is more engaging, and if I have good hand gesticulation, trust me, the girl gets more engaged in what you're saying. For posture, a quick, easy way to know you're having attractive posture is making sure you're more open and relaxed. You don't want to be closed and tense. So when in doubt, lean out. And when it comes to your voice, the biggest mistakes men make is they talk too fast and they have too much upward tonality. Which means I will be talking like this the whole time. And if I'm talking to the girl like this the whole time, what do you think should be attracted? Definitely not. You need to be able to talk more slow and more low. I could say anything. And if I have this communication, she will feel the attractive energy. So to talk slower and more low, and have great eye contact with a good smile and good body language, that is the most subtle way to start flirting with a girl. You can literally do this at any point of the interaction. I don't even have to be talking about something flirtatious. I could talk about anything. But if I start adding a more flirty vibe, she's gonna feel it. Through this method of flirting with a woman, you are literally at damn near zero risk of rejection or resistance. And this creates the sexual tension you're looking for, which separates you from the men who are just searching for that perfect line. It's not about the words, it's about the energy. Now, these are just the 3 key methods to flirt subtly. But if you wanna learn more flirting techniques and you just want to overall level up your pickup and dating life, link in my description to work with me one-on-one. That's all for this video. Have a great day. Peace.